Can you tell us when you first heard about the peace encampment?
Oh, I believe probably in 1982, somewhere along there, I started hearing rumblings of this and rumblings of that, and I'm not sure when they brought the property. I can remember driving down there for another reason and saw the property. Oh, that's good. Okay, fine. You know, had really no idea what the heck was going on at all. Not until much later, 1983, some of the local people were having, I know one of the gals was Marina Brown. She was very active in the peace movement locally. And we didn't have a peace movement, if you will. I don't know when, and I was going to check that before I came. The day after, the movie The Day After, well, I was associated with someone here in Syracuse with the Peace Council, and they were going to do The Day Before. And I guess that's how come I was hyped up on nuclear, because when I was a senior in high school, I read about whoever bombed Hiroshima with the airplane, and I can remember I was petrified, and I still am petrified of nuclear. We can kill each other and we can burn things up, but nuclear just scares me to death. So when this woman asked me if I would have locally a thing for the day before, so if we do things the day before, we won't have to do them, and it won't be the day after. So I had done something with her on that project she had going, and so I was sort of tuned in, if you will, to the nuclear thing. And so when I heard that these women were coming to talk about nuclear stuff, of course I wanted to hear and learn and find out more. I had been in Seneca Falls since 75. And then I had been in Seneca Falls previous to that and went away and came back. So most of my adult life I've lived in Seneca Falls.
And what did you know about the Seneca Army Depot?
Very, very little. No, I didn't know that it was a depot. It's not the depot. Depots where trains come in. A depot is where you store ammunition. And I did know it was a depot. And I did know that they had an airstrip out there. I did know trains went out there. I had never seen the bunkers. As many times as I had driven past there, I never saw the bunkers until later when they were pointed out to me. Oh, that's a bunker? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. To me, there were a bunch of buildings out there not being used, and that's all I knew about the depot. And it had a fence around it.
And so the idea that there might be nuclear weapons there, as you were there, didn't come up?
Not until, like I say, the day after project, or the day before project, talking about ground zero. What's ground zero? Oh, we're in ground zero. Because if in fact the nuclear bombs were there and some other country wanted to get rid of them, they would blow them up, and there we would be at ground zero. And I mean, even that word didn't even connect with me previous to the encampment. Oh my goodness, I had never imagined something like that had happened in my lifetime. It just totally annihilated, not just hurt, but totally annihilated. I mean, there was nothing left in how the people were burned and how their skin melted. And it's right there in the book, and it scared me to death. Plus, knowing about radiation and the fallout stuff, and horrible, 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 horrible. That's all I can say. I had never really even heard about it. It was not in our history books. Never knew that happened. And then to do it at Nagasaki, I couldn't believe America was doing it, that's for sure. And I think that was one thing, hanging out with some of the gals and listening. God gave me 2 ears and a mouth, and I try to listen twice as much as I talk. So that's how I listen for the pros on this side and the cons on this side and blend them together, and out usually they come for my own. But when they were saying about first strike missiles, what first strike? Well, big deal. Oh. And then you stop and you realize first strike means I'm going to hit you first. And then you're going to hit me back. But I'm going to make sure I hit you hard enough with nuclear so you can't hit me back. And first strike, Americans should not have first strike missiles. If we're going to hit somebody back, okay, but not first strike. That infuriated me. So.
And you learned about that through people in the community or at the encampment, or how did you hear about first strike missiles? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember. Carolyn Porter, she and her partner were 20-year-old kids, and they were there. And here's this bald-headed girl with bibbed overalls and her cigarettes in her sleeve, and this other bald-headed girl, and they're sitting there talking about, and they were in a local business, and they were talking about how the locals didn't like them, and the locals did this, and the locals did that, and I'm listening to them. What are you talking about? The locals don't like you. I said, I like you. Oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Well, I said I would invite you home. I would invite you home and give you a beer or a shower. And blah 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 blah. No, we wouldn't. Indeed, that. Okay, well, told you you're invited. They said okay. Uh-oh. Walk the walk, now I gotta talk the talk or something. I talk the talk, now I gotta walk the walk. Anyway, they came home with me. And it's like, oh my God, what did I do? Here are these two strange women, strange looking women. And I realized they weren't that much older than my kids. I had 4 kids, so I think my son was 18, so Carolyn's, I think, 7 years older than he. Anyway, here are these 2 these 2 protesters, these 2 lesbians, these 2 everything that I didn't know anything about. I mean, I hardly knew anything about lesbianism, period. And anyway, here these 2 gals are. And Carolyn, oh, you would have to meet Carolyn. She's like a little wind-up, ever-ready thing. You just wind her up. And she goes on and on and on. And she's the one who started telling about first strike missiles and how the protesters, they all go across the fence because if a whole bunch of them, then they won't book them all or whatever. And she's the one who told me about how men's clothing are made twice as good as women's clothing and gives it extra room and the whole summer long those kids were at my house, in and out having food, having a dip in the pool. Of course, the first time I met him, I asked him, "You don't have AIDS, do you? You don't have any venereal diseases, do you?" "Well, then go take a shower and then you can go swimming." But when I think about it, what a local woman I was, because I knew very, very, very little about women's rights, about the women's movement, about, I guess I had been involved with Judy Hart, who was at the, well, I shouldn't probably mention names, but Judy Hart was the gal who was at the Women's Rights National Park. And I did know her, and I did try to, I sort of had to do things anonymously or on the quiet or whatever, because I think part of the learning process was to get past your husbands. That if you were around women's writers or lesbians, it's not going to rub off on you, you know? And so I would stuff envelopes for Judy sometimes, or I would give her information that I thought would be helpful for her park, and I had done some stuff also for the Women's Hall of Fame. So I mean, I was active, I was a volunteer. Of course, Sunday school and Red Cross and the whole ball game. So, but I didn't know very much. Didn't know very much at all.
So you were married at the time when you had these Peace Camp girls come over?
Mm-hmm.
What in the heck did your husband and your family think and your friends think?
Well, see, that's the big thing. That's why I'm in Louise's book, The Nuclear Summer, is because I try to tell people, even though I, Carman, have ideas and feelings and thoughts and beliefs, it doesn't say my husband does. It doesn't say that at all. And we're in a small town in upstate New York where he is an executive of the company in town, and I am his wife. And you can only do so many crazy things. But I know that I and he and I have a son and 3 daughters. And we walked down the street with these guys, Carman and Don, with us. And it's like, do they have to sit on the same blanket with us? You know, and it was totally been trained to. No, I don't want to blame it on my husband, because I was also feeling a little uncomfortable. What's the neighbor going to think? That kind of thing. But he was probably more so. And how are we going to get rid of them now? Because I mean, they're so friendly and so nice, and I just love listening to Carolyn talk. I mean, she just talked. But they went to the fireworks with us, right downtown with everybody. They sat on the blanket with my youngest daughter and my middle daughter. I'm playing and having a wonderful time. And people were looking at these peace encampment women with no hair at our picnic thing. It was interesting.
What were the repercussions?
Well, let me precede this, if I may.
Sure.
I'm a Christian, or I say I'm a Christian. I taught Sunday school, go to Methodist Church, Family of the Year, all that stuff. I strongly believe that you form little minds and you give them good food and they grow strong and true and whatever. So when I was asked to be a woman to take and go on a canoe trip with 8 little boys and 2 little girls and another camper and myself, I said yes I would. I love to camp and I love to canoe. So alright, I planned my meals, I got babysitter for my kids, I did the whole week's worth of everything so that I could go on this canoe trip for the Methodist Church. And I'll make a long story short. I went on the trip and it was beautiful and I loved it, and it was, the little girls wound up not coming and I went anyway because I had already prepared all that, and I was going canoeing for a week. So, you know, and you're not supposed to bathe in the reservoir or anything, so alright, I broke a few rules. But I came back to the church, the camp, and I mean, I was feeling so healthy and so strong and so wonderful. I had been free being mother for a week, but anyway, as I walked by the table of counselors, one of the guys said, "Come here." And I said, "Well, hi, how you doing, whatever. We want to know, are you a lady wrestler or a truck driver?" And I said, "I'm neither. I'm a mother of 4 kids. What are you talking about?" Then I went over and they all laughed. They're all laughing when I said that. And I went over and I sat down and I thought, you sons of guns. Because I have a t-shirt and shorts and I'm tan and my hair's not done and I may have some dirt on me and my muscles are bulging, you're going to sit there and say that I am, and to me that said a lady wrestler or a truck driver, that's probably a lesbian, right? I mean, that's how I interpreted it. That hurt me so bad because I believed in something and I wanted to help promote that. So I went home and I went down to my Methodist church basement, and in a coffee hour, we had a coffee hour, and I told that story and everybody laughed, ha. And I said, and I came here to tell you this today. Don't look at these women at the peace encampment who are dirty, who haven't combed or put their hair up in rollers or whatever, and say that they're all lesbians and they're all bad, because they're here. They gave up their time because they believed in something so strong that they come out to this stupid little camp where there's no water and who knows what, and being with strange people. I know whole busloads of people came in from Michigan and stuff. And I said, those women should be given stars, not made fun of. So, did I get branded at church? Yeah. Did I get branded out in the community? There were a lot of local women who were very open. But I have to say they were the out-of-towner local women like myself, not having been born and raised there. But I think a lot of the women who were born and raised there, they weren't very open because their husbands weren't very open. And wives still sort of do what their husbands want of them.
How do we stand together? How do we do solidarity? And I think
a woman can't do solidarity. Well, because the old saying is, if you've been trampled on, when you gain power, you'll trample on people. And until women can stop judging, and that takes a whole lot of letting go of your ego, until I can say, I'm not any better than you and you're not any better than me, so let's embrace sisterhood. I think I came here today just because I wanted people to know how horrible nuclear is, and I have yet to meet a woman whatever her life choices are, because she was a daughter at one time and she did have family at one time, bad, good, and different. But every single person I have ever met, I can't tell you. You get right down to the basics. They love their family, they want some place to sleep at night, they want food, and they want good health. The rest of it's BS. The rest of it's BS. We shouldn't be bombing people, killing people. No, I don't care if we kill people. I don't. That's going to be life. But to nuke and kill the earth, because that's what nuclear does, is kill the earth. And I'm part of the earth, and so are everybody else. And we don't want our earth to be destroyed. And it scares me to... my blood stops moving. It does. Stops moving when I really, really concentrate, which I don't do that often. Because all the people, all God's creation, or Source's creation, or whoever, I'm open to all that stuff. I don't know who or what I am, but I'm just walking around here as happy as if I had good sense. I had gone out to the camp like 4 or 5 times, just nosing around, seeing what's going on.
Tell us about that.
No, you want to hear about that?
Sure.
It was not nice.
That's good.
okay.
We like not nice. We want the whole story.
We want, yeah. I mean,
I thought they
it's
were
made
pains in the ass. And you talk about solidarity. I wanted to be embraced and hi, come on in, and what's going on? And when there was no coordinator between the camp and the locals. The locals had to reach in and say they're going to do this or that, or whatever. But no, I thought the encampment women were a pain in the butt. I went out there, of course. I went out in my pink shirt and my white Nikes, or my white shorts and my Nikes. And they're all looking at me like, what the hell are you? You know? I even got nervous. What am I going to wear today? Do I wear a long flowing dress and beads and look like a hippie, or do I? And I said, to heck with it. I'll just go. But I went out there and nobody talked to me. Not one person. Yeah, and I'm walking and I go to the office. Or ask somebody, where's the office? And she looks at me, guess you mean up there, you know, not, hi, how are you? Well, let me show you around, or nothing nice, no. And so now I go in, and of course I'm like, here comes the local, because of the way I'm dressed, right? Here comes a Tony. That's what they call it, Tony. Anyway, so nobody said, hi, here's a pamphlet, here's what we're trying to do, come back for a meeting, nothing. And I overhear these 2 women talking about they're going to have a campfire, whatever. I said, oh, can anybody come to that? What's for people in the encampment? So, okay for you. And then probably that same week, or in that same, I would say a month of time that I had gone out there, and then I stopped. In that same week, one of our local women had invited an encampment lady to her house, and then had invited like 10 of us townies. And she told us and talked to us about sit-ins, how you sit down and don't move or whatever. You have to help me with the...
like doing civil disobedience.
Yeah, civil disobedience, there
Yeah.
you go. And then I went back out to the encampment, and this time I put on my cutoffs, and I put my swimming suit on, then I put my cutoffs, and then I put a t-shirt. Took my hammer and something else. I don't know. Oh, my carpenter's apron. Then I went out there, and I said, I came to help build the pavilion or the walk. Well, they're going to be doing that such and such a time. Not, well, good, come on, have a drink, or I'll connect you with so-and-so, or whatever. All right, and so here comes this big gal, big red-headed lady. She was beautiful, but big girl, with her boots on, a pair of shorts, and yes, she had a tank top on, but no bra. And then I said, I've always said, whoever invented the bra should be shot anyway. But so, all right, we go out there and I'm pounding, and it gets hot, and I take off my t-shirt and I've got my swimming suit on underneath there. She takes off her shirt. No, she doesn't. Well, you know what? Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. I'm like, well, am I supposed to look at you when I talk, But no, it was, and a couple, 3 other gals took off their shirts, and hey, men don't have to wear their shirts. Why should women have to wear their shirts? And if they're comfortable not wearing their shirts, what the heck do I care? They're just boobs. I mean, African women and women of other countries run around with no shirts on. Anyway, didn't bother me any, but I know it was supposed to, but it didn't. But they still weren't nice to me. They still didn't offer you a glass of water or anything. Then the other thing I did was I listened to me. Well, I did. Anyway, I'm sorry. I hate to make things we, because it was a we in this case. They needed a girl to cook on, a grate. And I happen to know a guy who has a scrap yard, and so he got us a grate, and then also something for their freezer. They had a pit, which they needed some hay and some ice, and I got them both of those things. Never. And okay, so no, I don't want to be praised for doing it. But can't it be part of you? I'm here to learn. I want to know what's going on. I want to be supportive. I don't want to be a townie who you think hates you. I want to be, So I didn't get to be part of the encampment. I really didn't get to be part of the encampment itself.
I wish that things had been different and that you had felt embraced and cradled.
I wanted to be a part, and I wanted to attend the meeting so I could go back to my locals. I mean, I was connected so many ways in our community to we had the women's luncheons, and we had of course, the church, and so much I could have and wanted to connect the two groups. I didn't want them to be single. Each one was I was United Methodist Woman, president of the Methodist Church, United President, and my thing was each one reach one. And that was my mission, to send each one of my Methodist women to get a hold of one of those encampment people, let them know that they're loved, let them know that we're here to help you if you get sick or you get hungry or you need a bath. Come on. You're not going to kill us if we let you use our bathroom. Anyway, it was interesting. But I learned the beneficiaries of all of this, as far as I can see, first of all, is myself. Because I knew nothing. And with Carolyn and Dawn, I asked everything. And these two little girls, I figured they're going to be gone, so I can ask them anything I want. It's easier to talk to a stranger than it is. So I asked them everything. Everything. How do you feel when you're walking down the street and you want to hold hands and you don't want people to stare at you? What about when you get a job? Do you tell people your husband, or which one of you guys are the husband? You know, just everything. There wasn't a thing that I didn't ask them. And what was strange was awakening to me, I will say, as my kitchen table was always a place where people came and talked anyway. And many times I would have my friends who were executive wives. My friends came and we talked and whatever. And when we got comfortable and secure and all that nice stuff, they would say about their love lives. Wham, bang, thank you, ma'am, type. And now I'm talking to Carolyn, and you know how Carolyn just... And I said, you know what? That sounds pretty good. That's what all the executive wives are looking for. Someone to take a bath with, someone to put oil on, someone to touch their face. And I said, that's what these executive wives are looking for. I said, but I won't tell them. But that part was fun. And then Dawn called me. And, they're having troubles. And Carolyn calls me. They're having troubles. And I said, what do I know about gays breaking up? And the minute that crossed out of my mouth, I said, I do know, don't I? Because your people doesn't make a damn bit of difference. It still hurts when someone you love decides not to love you. And then I was perfectly fine with gays, whatever. I was Carolyn's mother at her wedding. She was married in Massachusetts to another girl, and they have since had a baby. And my daughters, in 1987, I had open heart surgery, but previous to that, I was in Boston, and I was having trouble with my heart. Put me in Mass General. Who did we call? Carolyn. Carolyn came. She was my quote oldest daughter, and took care of my one daughter was 13 by now, and no, Carolyn has just been an awesome, wonderful friend. And my girls have learned so much, and it took away. I have daughters that are 6'2", 5'11", and because of their size, because of their abilities, they're very good sportswomen, and it has taken away knowing Carolyn and the openness that we had in our household towards Carolyn. It's taken away all phobia? Homophobia. It's taken all that away for them. And I'm so thankful for that. Just so thankful that they didn't have to suffer that homophobia. But no, it was such an education about our government, about just about everything. I loved it. I grew so much. I did. I just grew and grew and grew and grew.
What is it about you that, after being shunned basically at the encampment in 1983, that you would overhear this conversation and approach Peace Camp women after the way you were treated there?
You're going to come to my house and you're going to see this healthy, happy family. I don't know where you came from. Your dad could have beat you, whatever. We have food. We have a nice house. I'm going to show you what a good family is supposed to be like. And then maybe you'll get over it. No, that was pretty much my original idea. Then you'll get over it. Okay. You'll stop misbehaving. And you'll see that it's okay to be married to a man and have these beautiful kids, food on the table, and a nice house, and not walk around looking like you do. and try to convince them just because you're interested in sports. I love to fish, I love sports, I love anything a man loves, I love it. Anything a woman loves, shopping, decorating the house, putting makeup on, I hate it. Am I gay? No. I don't think so. But if you met me, would you say I was gay? Now look at you shake your head.
Yeah, you fit the profile.
I do.
Yeah.
And I always have. And so do my daughters. But we're not gay. We just look gay. Because we're big and we're strong and we aren't primpy, whiny. And that's what so many straight women are, just primpy and whiny, and they have such troubles with their periods. Give me a break. They're just not Midwestern women, and that, to me, there's a difference between Eastern women and Western women. Probably all Western women, not all, goodness gracious, I don't mean all or whatever, but I just think we're tougher out west. I also think that Midwestern people gave up asking who your father was or your mother, your heritage, all that stuff, because when we were out west, we had to have sisterhood, and we had to have togetherness to help one another, period. And it didn't make any difference who you were, what you were.
Right.
You're you, and you and I have to do this together to get it done.
Right.
And Easterners still, what's your nationality? When I came here to New York, I had to call Nebraska and say, Mom, this is going to be dumb, but I'm 20 years old, but Mom, what's nationality? Oh. Do I have a nationality? No. Oh, okay. Well, all right, fine. I just didn't know what to answer the question. Because in Seneca Falls, it was like 65% Italian. And I was not Italian. I was 85% Catholic, and I was not Catholic. And people would ask me what my nationality is. I don't know. I still don't know. Anyway, but I think Western women stick together. I know, I am divorced now,
Wait, you were family of the year.
I was.
You don't get divorced.
I did. He got a girlfriend. What hurt the most was this woman had no feeling towards another woman, and I had just gone through 10 years learning about women, right? And here this woman who chose not to have children getting my man, and she didn't care one bit about me and my children.
Your family.
And that just, how could you do that to another woman? Tell him to bug off until he gets his life straight. If he's fine, come back. But you don't do that stuff. Anyway.
Did you know anybody that worked at the base? Soldiers? Military folks?
There weren't many. I didn't know military people. I knew civil jobs. Yeah. There weren't any soldiers then. They were mostly there in the 40s and 50s. No, the whole depot was this one big white deer field. They're not albinos because they have black eyes. If they were albinos, they'd have pink eyes. They have interbreeded, I guess, one albino, or they ate nuclear grass. I don't know. A lot of bleach in the water. I don't know. What was interesting with peace in camp people was the fact that they went over the fence. Carolyn went over the fence. I also went to a training on being a peacekeeper. I went to, I happened to be at the encampment the day they walked across the Waterloo Bridge. And I made the decision, okay, now they're coming home, whatever. And I made the decision, I think I better go home. So I didn't stay for the comments, the whatevers. But I did know the banker's wife. What the heck was her name? Oh, I knew her. And I was very proud of her that she was walking with the women. And I wanted to go walk with the women. And
tell us in your words what you understand happened.
Just a bunch of yahoos. Just the local men, mostly men, talking about lesbians and do. And I swear to God, they didn't want them talking to their wives at all. And here they were. Also, Waterloo is Home Memorial Day. And I think your soldier people had a little bit to do with that. But it was no big deal because I think it was a BB gun, not a real 22 anyway. But it's still, anybody has a right to march if you got a permit, if you follow the rules, should be able to march. But when they had when they went over the fence and they got a whole bunch of women, I want to say 60 or so women that had jumped over the fence, and they had them in the fairgrounds, and I put my peacekeeping little thing on my arm, and I went, and now I'm a peacekeeper. And here, heated debate going on over here, and I look over, and here's two scruffy looking people and two townies, and they're yapping back and forth. And pretty soon the peace camp gals, they were, I don't know, defending themselves. They took a shower in the stupid car wash, whatever. I don't know, but they were in a heated discussion. I walked over and I just simply touched Townie's arm. I said, let's not get too upset over it. Get your lesbian hands off me. Don't you touch me. She's lucky I didn't clock her one. But she ranted and raved at me, and I said, I'm a mother of four. What are you talking about? Like, being a mother gives you a badge, not just... How could I be? But no, and I caught myself. Okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, and we'll just be moving on, won't we, gals? And I just sort of got the gals, and we sort of walked away. But it was interesting, the whole summer. But I wanted to tell you, when it came the end of the summer, and I thought Carolyn and Don were going to be moving on, oops, they stayed in Newark. You're what? You're staying in Newark? That's in my backyard. I can't have lesbian friends. Oh my God. I said, all right, girls, we have to have a talk. I can remember us laying out there on a blanket. You're not the people I would have chosen for my friends, because you are much too young. You're almost the age of my children. So I usually don't hang out with kids that are my kids' age. So I wouldn't have chosen you. I don't know, you come from Boston, you come from wherever. I wouldn't have chosen you. Besides that, you're lesbian. Don't don't know how to behave, you don't shave your arms, don't shave your legs, you wear
You shave your heads.
Yeah, you shave your head. Got things all screwed up. But so we had that conversation. And of course, the minute they were moving to Newark, I helped fix their house up, give them a table, give them a whatever. But I don't think we were, we kept in communication, but they didn't visit that much. So they totally respected me. They totally, we had a wonderful time. All of us. Even my dumb husband, he sort of liked them, but he didn't dare like them. No, I never went down there, but I would drive past there. There would be no more than 3 or 4 or 5 people there. And, I was hoping that, in fact, it would have developed into something that women could use as a retreat place. I still wish that could happen. Because I think women need retreats, and I think women don't have the opportunity just to take 3 days off and hide away and be with just women. Sometimes it's so wonderful just to be with just women.
Yeah.
I used to not like women at all, because they're so judgmental. And men, I can look like this and I'm fine in front of a man. He doesn't need me to be dressed, in something sexy or whatever. But if I'm with women and I went to a party, I would be not acceptably dressed. So dress has always been because of my size, I think. And I don't have a womanly shape, if you will. So that's always been something. And I couldn't stand women's priorities or their whatever. They drive me nuts. Do these earrings look okay? Make sure your lipstick good. I should have put my eyebrows on it. God, whatever will I do? But seriously, I couldn't stand women. Could not stand them. Then I started liking them. Started to get to know the strengths of some of those women up there in that poster. Figured out my grandmother was a very strong woman's writer. She worked, which I hadn't known previous to these. I suppose my age, getting older now, and okay, so. But there's something about being with just women who are genuine, real women. It's wonderful to be with a group of women who don't announce who they are. If you announce that you are from the Women's Information Center, or you're from the Women's Rights National Park, and it's somewhat sometimes ashamed that everything that does have women is perceived and somewhat true, that everything is, like I joined the RVing women. I was so excited. They were all lesbians. Now, son of a bitch. Where can just women go? I don't want to find a companion. That's where I found that word here. Companion. They're not partner. I came here and I'm sitting around this group of women. And, my partner did this. No, my partner. What a beautiful idea. These women are just so gorgeous. I have never once thought of myself as my husband's partner. And I dwelt on that partner. And I came back the next time and they started talking about their partners. And all of a sudden someone used the pronoun she. What? And I'm thinking, what? Oh my God! I would like to take a woman from here and a woman from there and a woman from here and here and here and here and get them all to spend a weekend retreat at my house. That way, we could have a Methodist woman there. We could have everybody. Yeah, it closed down, 6 years ago? 7 years ago? They closed it down. They moved up. I can remember going out there with a friend of mine who worked. I don't know if he was maintenance or what, but he took me out there. We walked around like you went in to do business, the post office, not the post office, the office areas and all that kind of stuff. And there were still desks and still some possessions sitting around on the desk and that kind of stuff. And then he showed me where this one was gonna, they opened a boys' school down there. So that's been, I'm sure, more than 10 years. He also took me into one of those bunkers. Oh, it was huge. It's like it's dome-shaped, first of all. But it had huge blocks of concrete. You could probably drive 4 or 5, 6, probably 8 semi-trucks. Back nose to nose. Huge. Probably 3 or 4 of them across. There were different size bunkers, but that was a big one. And outside, it was there. You could see this little column of concrete. During World War II, that was a humongous storage base out there. See, and I didn't know this stuff until Don told me, or Carolyn told me, about what even, did you ever think where the guys get the bullets to shoot in Iraq? Where are they now? They're in some depot because they have to be kept cool. They can't be hot. They have to be cool. Can't be cold. They have to be cool. They have to be in the dark. You and I know that there's billions of dollars stored all over the United States. There's depots. All over the United States are underground facilities. And, there's so much we don't know. But this one was shown to me. And it was fun. No, fun, that's not a good word. Enlightening. And I'm glad I got to experience it. It just adds to my experiences and my knowledge, that's all. Well, I can remember the Bay of Pigs. My husband came home and told me they're going to use a nuclear warhead. Oh. What's a nuclear warhead? It's a big bomb. Oh. Well, I don't know when that was. 63, 4. Anyway, I had just a new baby, right? My first child, born 63. So I don't know if I was pregnant or he was young. I don't know. But I do remember thinking, well, nothing bad's going to happen. I got this beautiful baby and my husband and I. But there's the world, right? Then, it was after days, weeks, months, I don't know, when someone said, atomic. I said, what are you talking atomic? What are you talking atomic bomb? Well, that's what they were going to do. Nuclear and atomic are the same? Didn't know it. Did not know it. I will stand up and fight against nuclear. I will go be a soldier to fight against nuclear. Like I say, it doesn't bother me that numbers of people get killed. It doesn't bother me that we use Agent Orange and burned up all that stuff. That because there's still some left. But when you start like the day after or war games, scares me to death. Because there's nothing you can do. But this woman, I think either she was maybe she was a friend of Carolyn's, I don't know. Can't remember at the moment. And she was so taken by what was actually happening between the women in Seneca Falls and the women at the encampment, and how it was shaking up our world so that she named her book The Nuclear Summer. And anyway, she came, having met her and whatever, I can remember there were 4 of us in my kitchen. And she did like we're doing here. She said, just answer, just talk to me, whatever. And my thing is because I have responsibilities. I have the responsibility of being a wife, a good wife, a responsibility in my community to be who I say I am, responsibility to my children to be a loving, caring mother, whatever, what, not that true, but I have a role to play, if you will, and I can't go out there. I wanted to march downtown Chicago, but no, I couldn't. I had a kid. I couldn't do that either. But you have to abide by who you say you are, life you've been living, what you are. And this was going to be a short period of time, and do I want to put all of what, or do I want to be branded a weirdo? I don't know. I'm just weird as it is, and this was just something that made me a little weirder for a little period of time, and people remember some and some they don't, and it doesn't make any difference. There are a lot of the local people who didn't pay any attention, didn't pay one bit of attention one way or the other. They would repeat stories they had heard if they met somebody, but so many people, wasn't even touched them. But anyway, this book I think is wonderful. Hopefully it can be healed by people experiencing other people without defining them. And I do believe this is becoming more easy. What's that? Easier, because of people dropping the, I will say, Eastern white gloves and the proper things to do and wear, wear your white shoes, whatever. Those little kind of things being dropped. Some of them good, some of them bad, because please and thank you are still very important. And holding doors for older people. But I think as we all become more accepting of the way you dress, the way you wear your hair, what color you are, what status and position you have, the more we are exposed to single-parent families, black and white families, brown and black families, and everybody starts living in the same locations, vicinities, mixing up, and you throw in lesbian women with children, gay guys with kids. Once we see that that's not so scary, then I think we'll be able to go out beyond our boundaries in the United States and start seeing other people's belief systems could be okay too. That ours isn't the one and only. And I truly believe that people who came into our community, changed our community, And hopefully we change them too, so that we can all live in one world, all accepting one another, and not use nuclear war to kill us. Amen.